Sodat Gaming back once again, playing 7 Days to Die on the PS4. And today I'm going to kind of go through and show you how to make an underwater base. I don't know if you've played this game yet. If you have, if you haven't, it's an amazing game. I highly recommend it. Very addictive.
I find it very interesting and I don't even play it.
Yes, and my wife is with me to help me with my commentary. And by the way, I clipped this whole video. I clipped it up quite a bit so you didn't have to see me digging. I sped it up so you didn't have to, go through the 15, 20 minute videos. I wanted it to be nice and smooth for you. Anyhow, find your lake and go ahead and start digging down. I don't recommend doing it like I did in the actual gravel. I recommend doing it in dirt. But I would also recommend that you mark where you want on your map to be digging under. But you would just dig down after you get far enough down so you don't come up in the lake, then dig forward so that way you come under the lake. But make sure you're going under your mark. Follow your marks. And then after you get far enough under the lake, go ahead and clear out a spot. Just kind of clear out a whole area when you're under the lake. I also do recommend try not to go too far under the lake. Try to stay closer to the shallow area so you can actually come up without drowning. Because I came pretty close to drowning. And anyhow, after you clear out your area, I made it far enough down that because I wanted two areas. I wanted a 2-room base in this area, so I kind of tunneled out this first area, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to build a tunnel and I'm going to kind of build a ladder up to build a second area. So I built a ladder and just kind of went up from there.
For the people who don't know what you're doing, do you build, when you build your tunnels, do you go north, south, east, or west? Do you recommend that?
Yes, I recommend use your compass and always go north, south, east, or west when you dig your tunnels. So that way, because when you dig north, south, east, or west, it'll do a perfect kind of just tunnel as opposed to going northeast, north, south, any kind of double direction like that, because that will build a crooked tunnel and it will just be stuff that will become a little more difficult, uneven. So I recommend north, south, east, or west. But here you can see me going and just kind of clearing out this second room after I went up the ladder, kind of went a different direction so that way I can make sure I stayed under the water. So pay attention to your directions, watch the map so that way you stay under the water. Don't go too close to the shore if that's what you choose not to do. And then clear out that area. And then what I went ahead and did is I built another tunnel right here that you're seeing, and I started digging up. So that way this was going to actually be my entrance and my exit. And then if you can't reach it because you're so far down, go ahead and just use your wood planks like you would in Minecraft or this game. And I switched to the shovel because it did become dirt. And I can't really see, I'm pretty sure you can't see too well, but I just knew as soon as I was hitting it, the mark points were different. So I was taking out with a shovel, but then hit the moment of truth. It's water. Now just clear it out so that way you got a nice exit and then just surface as fast as you can.
Weren't you drowning at this point?
Yes, I was actually at 50%, but I mean, I made it fairly well. It's easier to surface than it is to swim down. I don't believe there's a fast button to swim down. So make sure you get right above your entrance before you start swimming down. And now make sure you have enough supplies when you do start this. When you start laying your floor, your walls, your ceiling, just make sure you have a ton of rebar, cement, wood, just so that way you can make sure you come down here and get as much done. I mean, you can go ahead and do like some other YouTubers I've seen do. They took a crate and they brought it either down here with them and just kind of transported a whole bunch of supplies, or they left it up above. You could even do this in creative mode, I believe. And make sure you also clear out the ceiling enough so that way you can build your actual ceiling so you can actually put it above you. Because you only need 2 squares from the floor to the ceiling to actually walk your character through. And feel free to add any creative adjustments you choose to do. You're going to see me go ahead and kind of stop and kind of second guess myself because I did not know if I wanted to do it a little bit differently, widen it. I also highly recommend don't go too wide. Because if you make this too big, you spread out too far, you're going to need a support beam to hold up the actual ceiling because you do not want to cave in. You will die. You probably won't be able to find your supplies. All your time will have gone to waste. It's just something you don't want to happen. If you're going too far out, I don't know the exact structural integrity rules in this game. If you want to find out, go ahead and go to 7 Days to Die wiki, and they will kind of explain the structural integrity.
So why are you starting with the corners first?
I start with the corners first due to if you box them in, you will not be able to actually access the rebar. So if, say for example, when you come to a point in a corner, you will block off that corner completely with the two sides, and that rebar will sit unfortified in that corner. So I'd recommend starting with a corner, building up, and then go ahead and just filling the reinforcement in on that corner, then just go ahead and add your walls, so on and so forth. Because you can watch me right here actually, I kind of look at it and think about it, and right there I start adding in the corners first. Go ahead and start filling this in. I said, why not just do this?
So what's the difference between using the nail gun and the other materials that you have?
Like the wrench and the...
Yeah.
Well, the nail gun, if you can find a nail gun, it'd be so amazing, because the nail gun will make your life so much easier for reinforcing your base. It's so much faster as opposed to using a wooden club or a stone club or a wrench. I mean, a wrench is fast, but a nail gun, I mean, just look at this. The nail gun's fast. I do have it at double speed, but still, even at double speed, it's
half the time?
Yeah, so think about it like that.
Okay.
You'll even see it when I do start building the ceiling up here in a moment. I'm going to actually pull out the wrench and kind of show you what a wrench would do in difference. I mean, it's still pretty quick, but the nail gun, it's just so much smoother. A nail gun, it can also be seconded as a weapon because it shoots nails. Wrench can too, but you don't have to get close with the nail gun.
So where did you find the nail gun? For those who don't know where to get the nail gun.
7 Days to Die, everything's random. Everything's going to be a random drop. There's a hardware store in the game. If you're playing on Navigras, anyhow. If you're random gen, I can't help you. Just loot everything. Pray for a nail gun. But there's a tool shop, a hardware store in Navigras. And everything, determining what you have your settings on, things will respawn. All the loot boxes will re-loot. Like, you can re-loot them after so long. So there's a hardware store. Keep hitting that hardware store every so often and try to re-loot it, because the hardware store will have amazing stuff, and I believe that's where I fell into the nail gun. It was after I found that, I had already built so much. I found it. To me, I was like, why did it take so long? But it was still an amazing thing. But anyhow, after I finished up that top area up there, I went down the ladder and to my first area that I had dug into, and I decided I was going to go and fortify this off too with cement. You can choose to use wood if you would like, because in all reality, you're so far down now, you had already made a cement area up there. You could go ahead and make this wood if you had so chose to, but I went ahead and used cement. I made so much of it that I was just going to go ahead and use it just to, give myself a little bit of comfort. And then right here in this corner, I didn't know if I wanted to keep this tunnel, so I kind of second guessed myself, didn't know what I was going to do. So what I did was I actually tunneled it so that way I could actually make a door out of it instead of using it as a corner. Yet I've yet to think of what I'm going to use this for. I mean, I could make this a tunnel to another base if I wanted to make it more rooms. It's completely up to you if you do this way of making an underwater base. And also above where I made that ladder area, I kind of tunneled that out a little more, and I reinforced that area too, so that way everything's just real secure.
So with all the materials that you need, how does that weigh you down when you go in the water, I'm assuming?
No.
No?
No.
Because it's not realistic like that at all, right?
No. I mean, you will die of suffocation. You could die of a heat stroke. You could die of hunger, thirst. You could die of infection. You can die from breaking your legs from falls.
Well, obviously I don't play this game, so that's why I'm asking these questions.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe some YouTubers out there had the same questions. They were curious.
How much material did you actually bring down with you?
I actually brought down, I believe it was 400 rebar frames, and it was a little over 3,000 concrete mixes and then over 3,000 pieces of wood. So that way I can lay my frame and then go ahead and put my 10 pieces of wood on there and then my 10 pieces of concrete mix.
So do you have to be a certain level to be a concrete mixer?
Yes, you do need to put enough, you need to level up enough, and I believe it was construction. Don't quote me, don't flame me for saying such thing, but it was one of those things. It was, you can level up, and then after you get such a high level, you can dump your points into concrete mix. I believe you have to be, I think it was level 15 in said construction ability, level 15, 20. I'm pretty sure somebody will correct me. And then you got to get the concrete mix skill. You have to have a forge to smelt the iron. You need a forge to smelt the small stone. And then you got to turn your iron into the rebar frame, also with the clay. You have to smelt clay and iron to make the iron rebars.
Okay.
And then for the cement, it's just small stone, and then you can make cement.
So right here in this little area, why did you go up above and make that?
Just cosmetic. I mean,
Okay.
It was more of a protection thing. I felt like, here's my vault door. I don't want just cobblestone trying to protect me. I'd rather have a complete concrete encasement. I did not reinforce still any of this, because if they make it this far and I start noticing it, there's no way. But I also recommend that you mark where your base is going to be. Mark above the hole that you're going to have to swim down to, just to make sure that you make it there easier and be right above it. And then what I did is I went back to the hole and I put a rebar in there, cemented it off, and then I had dropped dirt in there just to hide it. Now in PvP, what you could do is you could do this actually in the grass and you could use dirt. It'd be easier to hide as opposed to what I had did, because you can tell the difference between the gravel and the dirt. But this is the lake it would be for me. Until next time, this was Sodat Gaming along with my wife. Please go ahead and like and subscribe and stick around for more videos. And signing off.